some adults say youth are the leaders of the future. The reality is you're leading stuff today, and we're needing to partner with you. And you're going to talk about some of the leadership initiatives and some of the partnerships that you've started from schools, from communities, to start it off, to Moderator. Danni Washington's a Miami native. She's just this awesome kind of multimedia personality, and she can tell you more about herself and then start up this panel.
Thank you, David, so much. Hello, everyone. Hi. Okay, we need a little more energy than that. Hello, everyone. Hello. We're supposed to be ocean people, right? That means ocean people are excited always, right? Happy. I know I am. I feel that way. I'm so honored and privileged to be here today with you and to be here in DC with these amazing leaders sitting in front of you. We're really excited about this panel because it's representing the future. It's representing why we're here, the whole point of the fight and the work that we're all doing in ocean conservation is for the future generations. And so this is why this panel is so special. And really just honored to be here. I wanted to quickly just show you what you're looking at on our screen right now. This is Joe Gabrowski's classroom up in Guelph, Ontario, Canada. We wanted to welcome them from St. John's Catholic School. Please say hi, hello. Hi. So they're joining us, and we'll be asking a couple of questions later, but we wanted to make sure to have a digital audience presence. And for those of you watching on YouTube right now, we are live streaming on YouTube via Google Hangouts on air. So hopefully we've got some great audience members out there as well. And so if you're interested, if you miss it, if you know someone who wanted to be here today and wanted to see it, they can watch the recording on YouTube as well later on this week. So we'll have it on all different panels. Okay, so let's get started. Michael, if you could switch me over to my PowerPoint slide here. All right, awesome. So I just want to introduce myself really quickly. Some of you may know me. My name is Danni, and I've been working in ocean advocacy for many years now. I studied marine biology at the University of Miami, and really loved learning marine science. I mean, that's my heart and soul. But since then, I've really just had a calling to do as much as I can to spread the word about what's happening in our oceans, and specifically to K-12 audiences. So that's really been my journey. I've been hosting videos, running a nonprofit business, which I'll talk about in a second. But if I've just, the honor of speaking at different places, different venues like this, and it's just really been great to be a voice for the ocean. And I hope that today will inspire each and every one of you to also be a voice for the ocean, because we need as many as we can. Whatever way you can get the word out, we need you to do it. So this is just a quick snap of what's been happening the last few years. So like I said, I went to the University of Miami. After undergrad, I actually won a competition with Roxy and Quicksilver's sister brand. They gave me $10,000 to follow my heart. They did a national campaign asking girls around the country about what they wanted to do with their lives, whatever it was, whatever they're passionate about. And I made a video with a friend of mine from the university, and we talked about this idea of doing a TV show for kids about the ocean, and I ended up winning. So with that money, started the Big Blue and You, which is a 501c3 nonprofit in Miami, where I'm from. And we basically teach arts. We teach kids about the ocean through the arts and connecting young people with artists who are willing to give their craft. And we have a youth board member somewhere here. I don't know if she's down here. Her name's Laura. There she is, right there. So if you have any questions about that, you can definitely talk to Laura. She's one of our youth board members. And then simultaneously, I started working with a group called Untamed Science, which we produced about 200 science videos for textbooks. How many of you guys use Pearson textbooks in your classroom? Anybody? So we work with Pearson, and it's currently circulating in their textbooks around the country at this time. So that was a lot of fun. And then beyond that, I've worked with Ocean Gems. We produce videos about marine science mentors, people who are actually working in the field and giving them a platform to show their work. And a tech company in LA that produced an underwater app for the iPad called Superfugu. Came out a couple of years ago. It's still in the App Store if you want to check it out. All right, so long story short, as right now is happening, there was a video out with J.D. Smith a year or two ago when they came out with the movie After Earth. Has anybody seen that? Yeah, so we did a video together, and that was a lot of fun. And lots of other cool things. Teens for Oceans is in the house. Yes, Raise the Roof from Colorado. We're currently doing some work together as well. Okay, so just to wrap it up, I wanted to share this with you guys. This is the latest project that I've been working on. It's called See Love, Be Love. And it's really just a campaign that I want to start online to just inspire people to write love letters to the ocean and to start really digging deep and figuring out what it is about the ocean that really makes you love it. Because if you love something, you're always going to protect it. And that's what I'm trying to get at. So Laura has some cards and she'll pass them out later, but I would love for you guys to join the movement. And the way you can do that is by going on Instagram and posting your own love letter to the ocean and tagging us in there and hashtagging. And maybe at the end, I'll just show you a quick example of what that looks like. A lot of fun. Okay, cool. Last plug would be YouTube. We need more people on YouTube posting ocean content. So get your GoPros, get in the water, get your videos out there because it's a lot of fun and you can get a lot of views and a lot of traction there as well. Awesome. Okay, so we'll move right along. I want to first introduce to you May Henry. She's here from Surfrider Foundation. She's a graduate of North Carolina Wilmington, where she got her BS, Bachelor of Science in Marine Biology, with a concentration in conservation. She's got a lot of great things on her bio. Because of time, I'm not going to read all of them, but I would like you to please warmly welcome May Henry.
How are you doing today? So a lot of you know me by Lauren, but to friends and family I go by May, so it might be a little confusing. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself and how I got to work with the Surfrider Foundation. So I originally come from the land of New Jersey. I grew up on a farm and went to school in this cute little farm town, but I really spent my summers on the Jersey Shore where I really fell in love with it. And that's where my passion for ocean conservation truly grew. So when I was nearly 8 years old, I decided I wanted to become a marine biologist. Says that I want to be a marine biologist there. At the same time, I also decided I wanted to marry Leonardo DiCaprio. So one of those is working out. I'm still hoping for the second. I really am. So to start off with my journey into being a marine biologist, I started doing research from a very young age. And I did a lot of bivalve population studies just at my local little beach place. It was fun, but I wish there was more for me to do. So as I got older, there got to be more opportunities. I did water quality and stormwater research locally, and then in college I studied a lot of invasive algals, which was smelly, to be honest. My first position as an intern was actually with New Jersey Fish and Wildlife, where I spent up to 3 to 5 days without a shower on an island with up to 17 small children. And I taught them all about the sustainability and the marine protected area. And it really got me interested in sustainability and how this one little island and hut could contribute so much to helping the environment and the Barnegat Bay. As Danny said, I went to University of North Carolina, Wilmington. I just graduated Saturday, so I'm still super excited about that. So, that is great. My summer spent while in college. I worked at Parks and Forestry as a naturalist, which I learned a lot about interacting with the public and trying to get them to fall in love with ocean conservation. And currently, I'm actually employed by New Hanover County Soil and Water Conservation, where I work in the classrooms with kids. So it's much different compared to my work on the island with school groups and being in the classroom. Last summer, I did a 5 JARS education internship, where I drove up and down the East Coast talking about plastic pollution. We went over to 50 different locations. It was a lot of fun, just me, my boyfriend, and my dog in the car. So it's led me to a lot of adventures, but my biggest adventure yet to do, I just got accepted into the master's program at Stony Brook University, where I'll be studying policy and conservation. But I'm not here to talk about how cool I am. I'm really here to talk about UNCW Surfrider. So a lot of my accomplishments have come from my 3 years of being a president of this awesome club at my university. There's just about a handful of us there. So we do a lot of work within the community. We try to have a little bit of fun, because with every conservation work, we want to get people coming out. So we do wetsuit car washes for fundraisers, and we do costume contests, surf contests too. That was this Halloween. He won, obviously. But we're also involved in the community as far as the drilling off the coast, and we make sure we have a big presence as far as the politics goes locally. And just because we are a student group doesn't mean we shouldn't be taken seriously. And we do find ourselves present and involved in stuff like that. So, with that being said, I would like to let this fine woman come up here and speak about this. I don't know her name goes up here. But, there we go. Jessie Floyd, can you please come up and talk about yourself? I look forward to teaching. I'm talking to you guys more about Surfrider and the work I've done.
So quickly, just wanted to introduce Jessie Floyd. She's from the New York Harbor School. Guys, represent. And they've got some amazing programs going on at their school. I'm so happy that the group made it to represent today. And please, Jessie, take the stage.
Okay, so I'm a junior at the New York Harbor School. I'm in the Vessel Operations CTE. And I'll explain to you what CTE is. So my school works, it's a public school in New York City, it's on Governor's Island, and it works that in freshman year you have a harbor class, which is basically you go around to all the different locations in New York City and you see water bodies and ways that you can help the water bodies. So we went to Dead Horse Bay, the Gowanus Canal, which is a super fun site and really polluted. And then you choose a career technical education program. So I chose Vessel Operations, which you can see there's a boat in the middle there. But that doesn't mean that I'm only doing driving boats. So the school also has a Billion Oyster Project, which the aquaculture program does. And that's bringing oysters to the New York Harbor and planting them in the harbor. So like Hurricane Sandy, it would have, people suspect that it would have been less of an impact if there had been oyster reefs to lessen the blow of those waves. Also, the oyster reefs bring other species to the area, and oyster reefs are great in that they filter the water in a natural way. And New York Harbor used to be huge with oysters, and now there are very few oysters there. So that's something the Harbor School does, and every CTE, so every different program gets behind it. So here you have diving, and diving goes into the water and puts the oysters in there. Vessel Ops carries everybody around and makes sure they have what they need. And this is over here, that was me at Hurricane Island. The school gives a lot of opportunities. And that's in Maine. And then you have the actual aquaculture kids putting the oysters in there. So I wanted to show a brief video so you guys can see some visual images of what we do.
Of young people in New York City about the ecology and economy of our local marine environment.
This is the first set of rabbit students on the entire dive, so Jeffrey Burrell is the diver of this entire setup, and my husband and I live in Maria Market in Johnson. I think it's going to go well. My name is Zena, and I'm diving on the boat today, and we're going to be putting in these really huge tiny stakes. It's really hard.
The goal for today.
Everybody off your devices, give her some bandwidth.
You guys are taking way too much bandwidth, please. So it looks like we can maybe let it load and play the rest? Okay, so we're going to do that.
So basically, the one thing that I wanted to say is the thing about the Harbor School that it does a great job of is educating kids, raising awareness to issues that generally a lot of kids in New York City don't know about, that I didn't know about before coming there, and empowering them to actually do concrete things like the Oyster Project or other things that I do like Hurricane Island that will actually make an impact and do something positive. So, thank you.
And if you do want to see that, the rest of the video, you can go ahead and go to, it's GIO, GI Oyster. Is that the YouTube channel? So definitely check that out. Sorry about it not loading in time. All right. So next we have Kelli Frank. She's from Teens for Oceans. She's a Kent Denver High School senior, And she's been a part of TPRO for a very long time. And she's here with one of her other students that she works with at TPRO. Victoria's in the audience, right? Victoria, where are you? There you are, cool. So yeah, it's really interesting to hear from her because she's obviously coming from an inland area, but still passionate about the ocean. So let's give it up for Kelli.
Hi, so as Danny said, I'm Kelli. I'm from Colorado, here with Denver School and Teams for Oceans. With Teams for Oceans, a big part of our mission is to bring the ocean to everyone, no matter where you are in the world, like in the middle of the country. So with Teams for Oceans, I've had the opportunity to go on some really interesting expeditions where up here we were scuba diving in a cenote in Acapulco, Mexico. A cenote, for those of you who don't know, is where freshwater and seawater mix, and it's a really unique ecosystem. So that was a really cool experience here. And also on this trip, we got to do some sea turtle tagging in the ocean, where we use these telemetry tags and adhere them onto the sea turtle's shell and put in a receiver so that we are tracking how often these turtles come close to this receiver. And it's we've done the same project in the British Virgin Islands, and we are planning on tagging some sharks with the same tags this summer. This was part of the same trip in Mexico. We worked with the Centro Ecologico Acapulco while we were there. So we worked with the local group to really get a feel for, to understand more about the location there. And they were a really great resource. And then, yeah, there's another picture, scuba diving. Teams for Oceans has been incredible because it is a way for us to learn about the ocean, even though we are nowhere near it, and learn about how important the ocean is and how it affects everyone. Where this weekend, actually on Mother's Day, we woke up to 4 inches of snow in the middle of May. So this is just an example of really why the ocean is so, so important to no matter where you are.
So you may not be able to tell, but there are actually 3 adults on this panel, including myself. But we don't think of ourselves as adults, really. We're young at heart and always will be, because we continue to work with young people. So I wanted to quickly introduce to you Katie Allen. She's from Algalita Marine Research and Education out of California. Katie has over 7 years of experience in science education, and in 2014 alone, she and her team reached over 40,000 students and 300 teachers worldwide with real science programs and real-time solutions that are dealing with mainly with a lot of plastic pollution. So I'm really happy to have Katie here, and she's great. So if you
Hi, so I'm Katie Allen with Algalita Marine Research and Education. How many of you have heard of Algalita? Okay, how many of you have heard of Captain Charles Moore? Okay, how about the term the Great Pacific Garbage Patch? Okay, great, that gives you a really good idea. I'm using the room. So Algalita has been doing research on plastic pollution for about 15 years. We've been an organization since '94. However, we were focused on kelp restoration until our founder and research director, Captain Charles Moore, sailed through an area in the Pacific Northeastern Gyre, which quickly became known as the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. So there's this terms that are starting around. 20 years of research just organically turned into education as well. And I actually brought a video, I put a video together to sort of help articulate what we do, because there is so much behind it. Oops.
Algalita studies one of the most serious threats to our planet, ocean plastic pollution. Since 1999, we've worked to understand the complexities of this issue. Our work in the North Pacific Gyre has ignited a global movement to prevent ocean plastic pollution worldwide. effective environmental education by bridging real-world science with real-time solutions. We're committed to preparing the next generation to deal with the challenges ahead.
So as you can see, Algalita is really a hybrid nonprofit. We have our research department where we have our scientists who go out and conduct the research, and then education. When Captain Moore came back, Algalita was getting a lot of calls for classroom resources, presentations. People wanted resources. They wanted information. So very organically, we needed an education department. We take the real world science, just like the video said, and we bridge it with real-time solutions. So we start with the education. We teach them the in-depth information that our scientists are gaining from the real world. We create activities we can take into the classroom, so they're being exposed to the issue. We take them out on the boat. They can do sampling off generally the coast of California. We are located in Long Beach. And then from there, we really want to inspire them to make positive change in their community. So when I say effective environmental education, a type of education that provokes, or that raises an awareness, that provokes action. So that's very important to us. And in fact, what's interesting, this is sort of an odd graphic to have, but the whole left brain, right brain, I love this idea, and for Algalita, it's very appropriate. For us, our left brain, being the logical, numbers, analytics side, and then you have your right, the creative, the more emotional side. When you're working with ocean conservation, or a lot of environmental issues, it's very important to learn how to integrate the two sides of your brain. And that's the number one thing I teach students when I meet up with them, because a lot of times, even me personally, I started out very right brain in this, very emotional, wanting to change the world, wanting to jump right in, but you really have to integrate your two sides. And I feel that Algalita does that very well. We have our science, that is very much our left brain, and then we bring in the right through programs like our annual youth summit, where we invite students from all over the world to submit project ideas that reduces waste in their communities. They come to Southern California, we help them really refine what they want to do. We set them up with mentors. In fact, Danni's one of them. She was in the end of my video there. She's been the last couple years. And we're really there to just provide a resource and support and mentorship for students who really want to make a difference in the world. We also encourage older students to get involved. So we have an ambassador group. Right now it's 10 students. They go out and they do presentations, middle schools, elementary schools. I mean, some of them have even gone to the city councils to promote legislation against maybe banning bags or styrofoam. So we're a very just well-rounded organization. And yeah, I'm very happy to be here today. Thank you.
Katie. And if you guys have not heard about POPS, the Plastic Ocean Pollution Solutions International Youth Summit that happens every year, you need to be there next year. It is so worth it. It's so much fun. And I know, when do applications go out?
November.
In November. Okay, so whoever's out there, you're watching, you better reply. It's an awesome weekend. You got to be there. So next, I'd like to introduce Sean Russell. He's also the organizer of this entire panel. Got the ball rolling to make it happen here at the Blue Vision Summit. And Sean, I've known of for at least the last 5 years. It's been a while. Both of us were in Florida, and I kind of watched what he was working on when he was with Moat Marine Lab and created. He was doing an internship there, and he created a program called Stow It, Don't Throw It to get rid of monofilament in the waterways that were obviously entangling a lot of marine animals. Since then, he's moved on to do many other events planned and organized. He organizes his Youth Ocean Conservation Summit every year in Florida at Moat, and it's a great event as well, so I highly encourage, if you can get there, go to his summit. It's awesome. So without any further ado, please welcome Sean Russell.
Thank you, Danny, so much for that great introduction. It's really, again, a pleasure to be here with all of you, talking about a topic that I'm really personally passionate about engaging and empowering young people to take action around the major threats facing our planet's marine ecosystems. A little bit more about my work, as Danny alluded to. I grew up in Florida, kind of always near the coast, always around marine environments from a young age, and studying with my family, that really fueled my passion for wanting to learn more about marine ecosystems, and that passion quickly became growing interest in marine conservation, wanting to protect the marine animals and the environments that I fell in love with at an early age. Growing up, I had opportunities to take part in marine science education programs through Florida 4-H and through summer camps and internship at Boat Marine Laboratory down in Sarasota. And for me, those experiences started to really open my eyes and show me firsthand the serious impacts and challenges facing our planet. And one of those in particular that stood out to me in high school, I had a really unique opportunity to spend 2 years working on a study of human-dolphin interactions in Sarasota Bay with Boat Marine Laboratory's Sarasota Dolphin Research Program. And one of the things that really stood out to me was the impact of improperly disposed of fishing line on dolphins and other marine wildlife. If you're not aware, fishing line takes, they estimate, about 600 years to break down. It really never goes away in the environment, very persistent material, and has the ability to injure and tangle a wide variety of marine animals.
Danny is one of our favorites to connect with too. So I have some students here with me today, and whenever you're ready, we have a couple questions that we'd like to ask the panel. So thanks for putting me on the spot for the intro.
Anytime. Yes, with that note, we are going to kick off our Q&A section, and these students do have to leave their classroom at 3:15, so we're going to get them in first. So Joe, go ahead and send your first student to the camera.
All right, line up.
Here he comes, Oz. And make sure to say your name and how old you are before your question. Hi.
My name's Marcus, and I'm 10. And this question is for Lauren.
Okay, go ahead. Hey,
how can students use social media to protect our oceans?
Alright, so Marcus, one of the ways that can you hear me?
Yeah.
Cool. So one of the ways that we use social media a lot to promote our UNCW Surfrider Club and ocean conservation is we actually have a huge following on Facebook, much larger than a lot of the other clubs on campus, and it's because we involve our audience a lot. So we do competitions of hashtag, sort of like what Danny's doing, but we do hashtag Love Your Beach and try to get the kids and students of the university to take pictures of the local beach and really start to fall in love with their ocean through social media and posting it and getting the awareness out like that. I'm not too familiar with the tweets and the tweeters, but Instagram is also great for hashtagging. So using that is really an awesome way to reach a bunch of people. I cannot emphasize enough how much having people share it and just having a network of people on social media able to share stuff automatically just with a click of a button, it can reach 1,000 more people. So definitely it's a huge thing to use for ocean conservation, and I definitely encourage it, especially for the youths that are so Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram friendly.
Excellent answer. Thank you for that question. That was great. Thanks. Give him a round of applause. Okay, who do we have next?
All right, come on up.
Well, hello.
Hi.
Hi, what's your name?
Olivia.
Olivia, and how old are you, Olivia?
9.
Great. What's your question, and who is it for?
It's for anybody on the panel who has a good story. So we hear a lot of bad news about our oceans. What have you seen recently that gives you hope for them?
What have you seen recently that gives you hope for the oceans? So whoever wants to take that, go ahead and grab a mic.
So I recently worked with an elementary school to reduce plastic waste, because a lot of the trash that we use in our schools end up as litter and can get into the ocean. So we created this really awesome PSA. Well, first we did a waste audit to figure out how much trash there was. Then we did this really awesome PSA and showed it to the whole school, and we did a waste audit the day after we aired the PSA, and the school
doing work or keep focusing on the oceans and not giving up on it is people who are really passionate about it. You know, and the fact that people care about it enough to have a conference, the fact that people care about it enough to teach it in a school, like a New York City public school, that's like the main thing that's drilled into your head. The fact that there's those adults out there and then there's those kids out there that care enough about the ocean and see a hope in it and see that it's not worth giving up on and that we can actually move forward. I think that's what really gives me hope, other people around me being passionate about it.
Great. Anyone else on the panel want to answer? Sean, go ahead.
Okay, cool. So yeah, kind of just playing off that a little bit. I think one of the things that gets me excited and continues to give me hope and inspiration is, and the work that really all of us get to do is we get to work with a lot of really incredible young people who are really stepping up to the plate and taking on some big challenges at an early age. I was telling some people earlier this morning. At our Youth Ocean Conservation Summit event this past year, our youngest presenter was 7. And doing awesome conservation work, raising funding for the Ocean Conservancy. He's written a book and illustrated a book too. And also done marsh grass plantings and coastal cleanups. And seeing students like that, their energy and their passion and their enthusiasm gets me excited about what we can really all accomplish if we really come together in a coalition of people of all ages and take on some of these challenges.
Wonderful. Awesome. Thank you for your question, Olivia. Thank you. All right, let's give them a round of applause, please. So now we're going to go switch over to our Q&A here in the audience. So Joe, thank you so much again for joining us today. Feel free to stand as long as you can, and we'll follow up afterwards. So thank you. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day.
All right, thanks for having us, Danny.
All right, bye. Okay, so by show of hands, how many people actually have burning questions that they'd like to ask our panel? Okay, so we're about 3. Okay, good. So we can, we have some set questions here that we can ask, but I really would love, I want to give you guys priority. So if we can have the first person who wants to ask that first question. And maybe you can borrow a mic.
Oh, do I walk up? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Danny, I can walk around.
Yeah, this one's for Sean. About your little immersion thing, how much line can fit in those bottles, and what is the feedback that you got from fishermen who use fishing line?
Yeah, great question. Thank you for that. So the line we can fit a really decent amount. I don't have an exact number for you, but once it's all smashed in, it piles up really well. What we do is this kind of serves as an intermediate step. So we have a lot of, like I said, really extensive fishing line recycling programs across Florida, a number of other states. We just rolled out a big partnership in California to bring the program out there. And what happens is this really gives, again, anglers the chance to store that line, keep it safely out of the environment so they can dispose of it. And what's been great is constantly when we go out, these get passed out at fishing tournaments, at boat shows, at kids fishing clinics, where we get to teach young people about the importance of sustainable fishing at an early age. And what's been really great is to hear back from the students we work with across the country, overwhelmingly positive feedback from the anglers and people who use them. We've had people come back year after year to the same events and say, you know, oh, I got one of those from you last year and we're still using it. Or, you know, we recognize this is an issue and we love having a tool that allows us to help address that issue. So that's been really exciting to hear. The fishing and boating community really embrace the idea and recognize the need for kind of a simple solution and really get on board with helping us promote it and backing it up too.
Great, excellent. And I think one of the coolest things about the youth ocean conservation movement is that I think that young people are definitely more open to collaborating, right? We have a very collaborative spirit, teamwork spirit, and that is contagious. And so when you get out into the world and you start to ask adults, you know, for help, and that you see these things that you want to help change, well, not many adults can say no to a young person. Okay, so I want you guys to know that you have that power, and the earlier you discover that, I mean, I think the stronger your movement will be. And so I think remembering that you're not just a kid, like you have power in the world, and you can make some great things happen. So great, we had another question.
So this is a question for anyone who wants to answer it, but I think there's a lot of enthusiasm, definitely, and there's a lot of youth out there who are really excited to get involved. How do you all think, what are actual concrete ways that youth can be involved in a way to have them go from the empowerment to the action stage of conservation?
So I think there's a lot of things you can do, even starting with simple things like not using plastic water bottles and recycling. And it obviously depends on the age of youth, but it's really just making sure to, really taking small steps and encouraging others to do the same can make a big difference. And spreading the word and starting campaigns at your school and your local community to help as much as you can.
I think too, what's really important is recognize your talents. Like choose your talents and really follow through that way, because you know, you will ultimately have the most passion for what you were born to do. So that is the first step, figuring out what you're really good at and how can you tailor that to really make a difference in any issue, really.
Just real quick, I want to give a huge shout out with Surfrider. They have a program actually called the Quad Youth Program, where it's developed for elementary through college groups, and our actual club is part of the Quad Youth Program and helps foster kids and get them really into the ocean conservation at a young age, and then they continue to be part of it all the way through college. So it's a great way to get connections, and really the Surfrider Foundation is there to help them and really wants to promote that. So getting involved in any organization, either Surfrider or just ocean conservation, is something that helps develop kids through their entire life to be ocean conservationists. It's also a great way to do that.
I just want to add a thing about, I think, education. So if you know something about the ocean, or if you know something about how you can help the ocean, so for example, your water bottle thing, or other different things that you can do, or problems in the ocean, like in New York, we have a big problem with sewage overflow. So once people are empowered and they know something, I think sharing that knowledge with their parents, or sharing that knowledge with other people around them. So litter is also a big problem in New York City. If you tell your friends not to litter, I think like small things like that, like educating people around you with your passion and inspiring others is good.
That's a great point, Jessie. Yeah, absolutely. We need to have more people spreading the word, spreading the knowledge about these issues, because there are so many that are out there, but you know, the more you know, the better you are. And on that note, I want to take just a quick little video break. I meant to show this earlier, but I want to show a collaborative video that we, Teens for Oceans and I worked on together, and the video is really about knowledge. So Michael, if you can switch over to our screen. Let's see if this YouTube video works this time. But yeah, just how do you make knowledge, spreading knowledge fun and engaging? Because you can't be that person who's going to be Debbie Downer, right? Telling like, well, you know, the oceans are just, they're dying. You know, nobody's going to be inspired by that. You have to show your passion, express it, and share it with others. And again, it'll be contagious. So here we go. Hey, it's Danni Washington, and you're watching T4O TV. Your place to dive in and get to know your favorite underwater critters. You love the ocean? I love the ocean. On today's Species Spotlight, we get to splash around with the oh so smooth southern stingray. Yep, this beautiful Alaska branch has been swimming by our Grand Cayman camera pretty often. Contrary to popular belief, stingrays are not sitting around waiting to stab you with their barb. Okay, I know you're thinking about Steve Irwin right now. I get it. I miss the crocodile hunter so much. He was one of my heroes, really. But his fluke encounter was a freak accident, and really, the chances of that happening to you the next time you're in the ocean are slim to none. These docile animals spend most of their time hidden in the sand, looking for prey like bivalves, crustaceans, and fish that all live on the seafloor. Yes, they have a barb on their tail, but it's simply a defense mechanism against predators like the hammerhead shark. Just like their sharky cousins, one of the coolest things about southern stingray and all stingrays is that they have dermal denticles. It literally translates to skin teeth. Yep, that's a little crazy. I don't know, can you imagine if humans had skin teeth? That would be weird. Well, dermal denticles reduce drag and allow the ray to swim smoothly through the water. Michael Phelps, you better take some notes, because you'll be a genius if you can create an amazing swimsuit that mimics dermal denticles. Get with the program. Yes. Southern stingrays weigh up to 214 pounds. That's a big animal. And check this out. One of my other favorite anatomical features of the stingray are the tubercles. Tubercles. Tubercles? No. You see it right there on the screen. You can figure it out. These modified scales are really cool. They run down the midline of the animal and just make them look awesome. Like little dragons swimming through the ocean. Yeah, with their cool little beady eyes. These beautiful animals can be found throughout the Caribbean and the Southern Atlantic Ocean. And if you happen to be diving or snorkeling, well, it's a ton of fun to hang out with them. Thankfully, the IUCN has not listed them as endangered, but they are listed as data deficient, meaning that there isn't enough information about these guys that we know. So it's all the more reason for you to get out there and learn more. And remember, step up for the ocean, because the ocean needs you, and you need the ocean. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time on T4O TV. Hopefully you guys can catch more of the spotlight. Because Teens for Oceans has so many great underwater cameras like that, they have access to so much great footage of different marine animals, and hopefully building that connection with some of those animals and organisms could be really good for conservation. So that's our hope. Okay, so moving on, where was our next question? All right, Laura's coming to you.
I had a question for anybody in the panel. I work with a lot of youth, a lot of underserved communities, and my question is, like, how do you encourage the students to do long-term, like, stewardship? It's been a little hard because we've done activities where we take them out to like the beach and explore the marine protected areas, but these are kids that have like limited access to open spaces and sometimes even limited like encouragement to do activities because of like maybe their parents don't have like the time, and these are students that have other activities going on. Like, so my question is maybe what for the students, like what encouraged you and what encouraged like your fellow students, and for somebody that has worked with students, what have encouraged them to continue the work?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, I'm from Colorado, so I'm not near an ocean. I think the biggest thing that really inspired me to care so much about the ocean was seeing it firsthand, where you can watch videos, you can see pictures, but it's hard to learn that much about the ocean unless you're actually there. The first time I went scuba diving, I was so surprised at how close the fish got to me. I actually picked up my emergency regulator and started blowing bubbles at them because I was so freaked out about how close they were. So I think as you really have to give them as much hands-on experience as you can, because there's only so much you can teach through a computer screen or through stories, and kids are going to find the passion in it as they see how incredible the ocean can be. And then you can also follow it up with teaching students how much has disappeared recently. I know Sylvia Earle has a great TED Talk where she talks about how much of the decline she's seen in the ocean just in her lifetime. So I think seeing how incredible the ocean is, but how much more incredible it used to be, really helps you find the passion and care so much about wanting to save what's left.
Yeah, I can kind of go off that too a little bit, and just continuing. For me, it's you know, it's that connection piece, it's that experiential learning piece, and then it's you know, that understanding of the major issues and threats that are facing our ocean, and then even for me, one step farther to really connecting students to solutions. I think we do talk a lot about the issues, we talk a lot about the challenges facing, you know, our marine ecosystems, and that's important, and we have to do that. We have to make people aware of the threats out there, but we have to take that a step farther and really connect students to actionable solutions that they can get involved with, and that's really for me what empowers them. That's why, like I said earlier, for me working on fishing line recycling campaigns, it was, you know, mind-blowing how many students wanted to get involved in this early on. And it was just something that was easy. It was something that was easy, but something they could do and it could make a difference. So we can make that transition from just educating them and talking to them about the challenges to moving and actually having them get excited and take action when we start giving them some of those solutions, or even giving them some support and resources to find their own solutions.
I think what's really important too, as a person who works with students, the question about how do you get them to kind of stay on track or with long-term projects, and that is super challenging. And for me, I'm sure with you as well, because you know, they have so many other things that they're doing, practices, and a lot of them play instruments, especially students that are interested in ocean conservation. Generally, they do a million other things. What's really, really important is cultivating that adult-youth relationship, and I think that's a a main point in this panel is making sure that us, the adults, we're really providing the mentorship, but not just that, but also this kind of sustained support for them to keep them on track as well. Also bringing in the parents, if they're willing, is a huge thing. I've done that quite a bit with students that I've worked with, where it's very obvious to me and the parent that this student may have a deep passion and drive. And so, working together as a team with the parents, finding other organizations that have adult mentors that you can bring in as well. That's what I do, because my organization is really small. There's only a couple people in my education department. So it's up to me to kind of build a network of adult mentors that I can hook students up with.
So with UNCW Surfrider, we have an education program that's actually won 2 awards, and we go around to schools and do K through 12 education about ocean conservation and things that kids can do. And some kids we get, and they get hooked on ocean conservation. Other kids say they won't litter by not throwing the banana peel on Mario Kart on the ground anymore. So there's a lot of misses and hits, but the biggest thing I have to stress is if the kids cannot connect with the ocean on an everyday basis, like I was so lucky to do and be able to attend the ocean and be there every summer, having the connection of just nature and understanding that when you turn on your tap water, that water is not just coming out of the tap, it's coming from our local waterways, and by polluting our waterways, we're harming ourselves and our own environment and really develop a connection with nature, because you don't have to be near the ocean to do that. So that's what I think is really important to do with kids that are having a struggle with connection.
I want to piggyback off of what you said. I think in environments like the Harbor School, where you have a lot of people who come from very different backgrounds, I think that really feeling that you can do something and make a difference in it. So if it's really simple as like pick up your trash, feeling that what you actually do matters, because a lot of times you feel that what you do doesn't matter, and that you can litter and that it's not going to end up in the water because you're far from the water. But if you have that idea that when you drop something somewhere, it's going to actually matter for somebody, for you, for your parents, for your family, for the bigger world, I think that can inspire people who may not have been inspired before, that they actually have power to make a change, where they might not have power over other things in their life, but they have power, pick up trash, or power to do, I don't really know where I was going with that, but yeah, empowering, I think.
Excellent. Yeah, and just to cap that off, I would say, growing up in Miami, I was around a lot of other kids who lived 5 miles from the ocean and had never been to the beach. They never went, and the reason why is because they were scared, or they were fearful of something, or their parents just never decided to take them, or they thought they weren't allowed. So many different various reasons can come about, but I think it's really about the inspiration and making that connection as an individual to know that they're connected to the bigger picture. Great. Question right over here.
Hi, my name's Jana. I work at the Natural Resources Defense Council. I consider myself still a young person, 26. This question is for May and Danny. It's really great hearing about how you engage with those younger than you. I'm interested in hearing more about how you've partnered with those older than you. I find that there is a gap between environmental organizations who really want to engage with you, young activists, and knowing how to do that, how to partner with you, and how to raise the next generation of environmental champions.
Go ahead, Farron, go first.
So the biggest thing I have to say when looking for internships, as young people face a sort of standstill, there's a lot of requirements of experience that, because we are young, we don't have, but we can equally do the job at hand. So having internships or job opportunities that maybe have so much requirements of experience needed would definitely help us get involved. But as far as the generation gap, we face a lot of issues with sometimes us coming into a workplace or an environment where we're sort of looked down upon because of our age. And 26, you know it too. I've been to numerous aquariums where the dive shows won't talk about ocean acidification, or global warming because the people in the dive shows don't believe it, which is amazing that they're teaching kids this, but when approaching them and talking to them about it, they won't address me because I'm not, above 40. So I think bridging the gap and really reaching out to the kids and saying, here's an internship, it's paid, here's a grant, go do something, would really inspire kids to get out there and contribute to ocean conservation, because it's scary to try to talk to adults when you know actually that you might get shut down just because they don't like what you have to say, or maybe your ideas are too new age and they want to stick to what they know. And something that I've faced not with Surfrider but with other jobs that I've done. So bridging that and really emphasizing that you want to listen and hear what they've got to say and what we've got to say, and taking our opinions as valid would really help bridge that gap.
Yes, I completely agree with that. But I think the core of it for me personally has always been mentors. Going and seeking somebody out who's doing what I'd like to do or what I was hoping to do, you know what I mean, in that career track, and finding them and reaching out and asking to see if I could find a way to just connect with them. There were people that told me no, which is fine, but that just meant that I wasn't supposed to be with them. But I'd say more adults definitely need to be more open to mentoring younger students, because that is absolutely key to give them exposure, experience, and the next level of work that they need to do to get to where they want to go. And then the second thing would be getting more young people on your boards and creating youth committees for your organizations. That is huge. And if you can put a student in a place, empower them with a position like that, I think you'll get really great insight for your own organization, for your own mission and what you're trying to accomplish, and get it directly from the source, which is great. And diversity, as many diverse spaces as you can find to have be a part of that would be great. Awesome. Oh, and speaking of generation gap, how many of you actually know who Steve Irwin is? Okay, just making sure, because Aaron showed the video to a middle school class the other day, and none of the kids knew who Steve Irwin was, which I thought was a very sad fact. Okay. But anyway, just a little anecdote. Do we have another question back there? Okay, I think this will be our maybe last, or maybe we have time for one more. Go ahead.
Okay. Really quickly, I guess this is for Kelly. How do I get involved? I actually don't really. Just really quickly, how do I get involved in teams for oceans?
Go to our website and fill out an application.
Okay.
And talk to them after the panel, so you can get more information. Get an email. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Also, Steve Irwin's kind of cool.
He's kind of what?
He's my idol.
He's your idol? Yeah.
I met Steve Irwin.
Yeah, Laura did meet Steve Irwin when she was about 6 years old. She showed me some pictures the other day. When she was still here. Okay, any other questions? None? Okay, yes. All right.
How easy is it to set up a nonprofit? Because I know you've got one and you've got one, and something that kids want to do, and getting it started and then maintaining it.
That's a great question. Sean, you want to try that one?
Sure, yeah.
I'll follow up.
Yeah, that's a great question. And for me, I'm really lucky in the sense that the two programs that I run, I was able to start as a college student and coordinate those through Marine Laboratory. So working with them and having that existing infrastructure was extremely helpful and allowed me to also do those while participating in other internships and things that I'm part of now as well. But that is, I think, a really common question that I get to see a lot from students, which I think is awesome. We have these students who come to our Youth Ocean Conservation Summits. They come back every year. They start a project 3-4 years ago, and now they're looking to the same thing. How do we turn it into a nonprofit? How do we take it to the next level in different ways like that? And I think there's a lot of great resources now for students. Some really fantastic organizations, or just like Youth Service America. I serve on their board of directors, one of the awesome organizations that has students sitting on, and young people sitting on their board of directors. They give out grants to students starting at the age of 5 and on up to 25. Organizations that are really providing those resources to young people right now to get those types of projects and things jump-started. We've been able to also provide funding and support to students through our program as well. And it's really, for me, it may not always, in the sense of young people taking that on, it may not always take the shape of a formal nonprofit, but it's been cool to see kind of these organizations start up And oftentimes all it really takes is a few people in positions like everyone in this room just to say yes a couple of times. For me, it was, I came to the staff at Moat when I was 18 with the idea to start this youth summit. And, let's be honest, they could have easily said, no, or come back in a few years, or maybe we can think about this in a couple of years down the road. But really, they quite simply just said, yes, let's make this happen. This sounds like a cool idea. And I think, kind of going off your point with putting, elevating youth in these leadership roles and really taking some risks, taking some chances, organizations really, to take a bet on young people and take that risk, I think has been an important message that I've seen really play out, and that can have some really exciting, I think, rewards in the end as well.
Cool. Yes, I started my nonprofit, The Big Blue and You, actually with my mom. We're co-founders, and we're still to this day. She's my business partner, ride or die. But anyway, my partnership with my mom has been great, but not everyone has access to a relationship like that. But I would actually say it's difficult to start a nonprofit. It's a lot of paperwork. So it also takes resources and funding. And it's great if you want to go ahead and do that. But at this point and at this juncture, I think in our movement, I think it's critical that more students collaborate, right? So that we find ways to come together as organizations to work as one unified unit, right? Instead of creating all these little individual entities that are running and trying to run the same race, we can work together and figure out how we can create projects together. So that would be my recommendation, to save yourself time and energy and money. Join up and partner with an organization. So cool. So I get the rounded up sign from David in the back, so I think we're just about done. But we want to say thank you so much to everyone sitting here for being here with us. Thank you to our panelists. You guys did a great job. Let's please give them a round of applause. And for those of you who are going to be on Capitol Hill tomorrow, best of luck. Rock it out. Represent. We need you out there. So keep going, whatever you're working on. And thank you again, everyone. Have a good afternoon.